People ask me what drugs I do before doing a commentary, and the answer is Vyvanse. Vyvanse is an ADD medication. It is powerful, and I crush it up like an herb, you know, so it's a little powder, and I mix it into a 5-hour energy, and then I shove the entire thing with the bottle up my ass. The conventional wisdom in this game, in Black Ops 2, has been thus far that the SMGs are dominant, and indeed I myself have staked my combat, the warfare I wage in this game, on that fact. That the SMG will set me free and lead me through the valley of death and the shadow of evil. A combined 25,000 kills with the Scorpion and the MP7, because it's not about the range at which you can put a motherfucker on the ground, it is about the speed at which you can cut open that belly, and bask in the glory of the toil and the gore of thine enemies who meet thine death by thine own hand. The maps are small in this game, the cover is limited, the lines of sight only go so far, yet the flesh is ripe to be picked through and chewed, and the rivers will run deep and red with the blood of 50,000 sinners. With every weapon, I am always looking for the best of both worlds. And sometimes I find a rare hybrid of perfection, a weapon that is all-purpose, all-powerful. And I come here to you today humbly to recommend, the Scar H, in its infinite glory, that is yet undiscovered, for it is a humble weapon. The Scorpion is deadly, but it's high maintenance, and it knows that it's better than you, and it mocks you as a cruel farmer mocks its sheep before slaughter. The Scar H is a dog, a faithful companion. It will hunt with you, it will fight with you, it will die with you, and if you should die without it, it will guard your grave faithfully from the sinners who seek to defile it with their urine and semen. And the world will scream at you and I and the rest for trying something new, for giving up the SMG so that we might claim glory with our Scar H. For the world fears change and is addicted to chains. The chains that deny freedom. And in this game, those chains are made of the SMGs, the Peacekeeper, the Scorpion, the PDW, the MSMC, the MP7. They are a fence, and they keep the fools locked in so that they might live without the fear of the unknown, without the risk of mishandling absolute power, so that they might feast on chicken feed while the true warriors embrace the scar. For it is the scar that represents a true warrior. It is the scar that represents pain, a permanent wound that you might be lucky enough to hide from others, but which you can never hide from yourself. Quick draw stock. I think I have fast mag on it as well because I hate taking long breaks from glorious murder. But you run quick draw stock on this badass motherfucker gun, you will claim your own glory. The weapon is high damage enough to compete with the SMG close up. The stock will allow you to maneuver as if it were an SMG, you know, weave in and out between bullets. But even without any attachments, the Scar can still compete at a long range, and it can do it more efficiently than the SMGs. Even the MS motherfucking MC. The MSMC can win long range against ARs, but it's still often going to have a level of like burst firing involved. And you're not going to be able to hit slim targets like head glitchers and clippers. The Scar, you don't have to burst fire. You can just hold down that trigger, spam bullets, adjust your aim as bullets are flying through the air, and the guy's like, ah! And you can take out clippers and head glitchers and all that other bullshit. Yet when the time comes to engage in that combat that is so close, hand to hand, when you are faced up front and so close with the enemy that you can clearly see the whites of their eyes, then still with the proper attachments the Scar can fight as if it were an SMG, for it is high damage. The quick draw on the stock will allow you to dive behind cover and dive right back out and stay on the move as you are tearing through the flesh of the sinners. There are two things a regular SMG has over this weapon setup. The first is a much tighter hipfire. And that's obviously something to consider, depending on the map. And also, you can't run suppressor on this bad boy because it'll fuck up the setup, you know? Basically, the Scar H setup, in my humble opinion, is going to do you more justice on maps like Drone, Turbine, Meltdown, Downhill, Mirage, Hydro, Aftermath than the SMG setup would. This gameplay is actually from the Chaos Mosh Pit playlist, which I guess is kind of dumb on my part because all these maps, I would actually tell you to stick with the SMG setup. And you know, it is important that you choose wisely. Choosing your class is always going to come down to what map you're on. And, you know, depending on... what I've always wanted to do was get, like, the average line of sight length. But you'd have to, like, measure every line of sight, and that would be really obnoxious. And, you know, what is a line of sight? And, there, you know, there'd be all these technicalities. But the more wide open a map seems, the more justice the Scar H setup will do you as opposed to the SMG. But you know, maps like hijacked and stuff, you should still stick with the SMG. And it is important that you choose wisely, for it is up to you and you alone to ensure that the rivers run deep with the blood of the sinners. This is Batman, signing out.